It's time for another Broken Plane podcast, coming to you from the Pod Shed in Tigard, Oregon, with your hosts TK and JB.
Welcome to the Broken Plane podcast, season 2, episode 12. TK, how you doing?
I'm glad to be back.
It's been a while. Has it been 2 weeks or 3 weeks off?
I feel like it might be 3 weeks.
It might be 3 weeks.
Yeah, we keep having things happen.
This turned into a real spring/summer vacation. Last week was my fault. I got sick.
It happens.
I don't believe it was really sickly. I think that this Pacific Northwest air, the cottonwoods are just killing me.
They're murderous.
They're flying I don't know if anybody else in the country knows, do you have cottonwoods anywhere? I don't know. But they're these big tufts of what looks to be cotton. It floats around all over the place. It's just, it makes me sneeze. So yeah, I've been ducking that. I feel better now. So why don't we jump right in with Twitter Fan of the Week?
We'll do that. This week it's not a Twitter fan necessarily. It might be.
Really?
But we don't know yet.
Okay.
We received an email from one Alex Forbes, our fan of the week, our Broken Plane fan of the week. Congratulations, Alex. Woo! Alex emailed us to enter into the Great Big Broken Plane Fantasy Football League.
Yes!
He's from Australia.
What?
He's our mate.
That's fantastic.
Good day.
You just settle down.
Yeah.
You don't want to drive this guy off. That's awesome.
Yeah.
A real live Australian.
I think
International.
so. Or it's a guy from the United States who moved to Australia.
That could be.
And took us with him.
That could be.
Either way, we're excited to have him. He's going to be in the Fantasy Football League with us.
Sweet.
Spots are filling up quick. You better get up. Better
yeah.
get in there. I mean, I guess we haven't been talking about it too much because we haven't been as active on the social media, or the podcast hasn't been coming out. So maybe you just haven't heard of it yet. But it's time to get in there. We're giving away prizes.
We still haven't really decided what prizes we're giving.
Logo stuff with our logo on it, so you can be our free advertisers.
We're thinking shirts. We're thinking
T-shirt, maybe
hats.
a sweatshirt, maybe a hoodie,
maybe
a knit cap.
I think any of those
all
I would
sorts
wear.
of stuff like that.
Our logo is pretty cool.
I like it. So that's Alex, Mr. Aussie. Congratulations, you're our fan of the week.
Woo! That's really cool. So we've got an Australian fan and we have a consistent listener from Germany.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. Okay, so you can hit us up on Twitter at The Broken Plane, Facebook, The Broken Plane NFL Podcast, email thebrokenplanepod@gmail.com. You can catch us on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play Music, YouTube. Those are all the places you can. And if you hear us now, you've already found us somewhere. So wherever you found us, that's great.
Yeah, go back there.
Nicely
Leave
done.
a review.
Leave a review. Yes.
Exactly.
Let us know what you think.
And I'm just going to say one more time, the Great Big Broken Plane Fantasy Football League, we are looking for you. We need 7 more people, I think is what it is now.
Yeah, we're almost halfway there, and it's just the middle of June, so it's pretty good.
Right. We're going to do Yahoo Fantasy Football League. It's created. Looking at a live draft, I believe it would be September 2nd is what it's scheduled for right now. It's a Sunday, the Sunday before the opening week, in the middle of the afternoon, so that hopefully everybody can do it. We'll work around the schedule, see if we can get it to work that way.
Yeah, we might want to, since it's a live draft, we have somebody from Australia, we might want to look at maybe a Saturday.
That's true.
That will be
so that
it's
Sunday. Not midnight heading into Monday work week for him. Yeah, so we might move it to a Saturday now.
We'll see. We'll see what makes sense.
But yes, we'll figure that out. We're going to aim for live.
Live would be sweet.
So get in there, let us know, email us, tweet us, just let us know. Very good. What are we going to talk about today?
Well, why don't we start off with quickie news? We've got some quick hits.
Okay.
Training camp, not training camp, excuse me, minicamps.
Minicamps, mandatory minicamps.
Mandatory
you better
minicamps
be showing up.
Are underway. Yeah, I don't know. We've got a couple of holdouts, and the reason we're talking about mandatory minicamps is just really to discuss holdouts, because there are some players that aren't showing up.
Right. And what's the punishment for not showing up to a mandatory minicamp?
You get fined.
You get fined by the team, not the league.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. The team withholds some of your contractual pay is based on your attendance at minicamps, at mandatory minicamps, and you essentially forfeit that money.
Trivial amounts of money for the guys that are holding out.
I think
for
so.
The most part.
I think I was reading that Julio Jones is one of the guys who's holding out. If he stays away all 3 days, it's like $84,000, which to me is all the money in the world. But for him, that's tipping change, right?
Exactly.
He just keeps that in his pocket to like give to the valet. Maybe not quite, but I mean, to Julio Jones, that number doesn't mean as much.
I think not, and I think it's probably also worth it to not risk getting hurt. Though at the same time, I might just go to minicamp and just kind of chill. I can't imagine that the coaches would insist on your star wide receiver going full speed and risking it after we've already had a couple of injuries and lost players for the season.
Yeah.
In what, rookie camps and stuff like that.
Yeah, it makes no sense to me at all why you would. If I was a head coach, I don't even understand why there are some head coaches who don't just say that. And maybe they do behind the scenes. Maybe this is one of those things where they're like,
yeah,
you know what, thanks, but no thanks. Just stay home. If I'm Bill Belichick, do I need to see Rob Gronkowski?
Nope.
I don't think I do.
I don't think I want to.
That guy is always dinged.
Yeah.
The last thing I need is for him to do something that gets himself hurt.
Yeah.
David Johnson is coming off of is it an arm? What did he break last year?
I think it was his wrist.
Yeah, but again, I don't need to see him.
Arizona
David Johnson
Cardinals running back
is going to be a valuable part of the Arizona Cardinals offense this year.
And I think he also has a little bit of an injury right now too, so he's nursing something minor.
Okay.
So another reason for him not to bother.
Yeah, so he's not showing up. Julio Jones is a little bit different. I think he's looking for a contract, or he's trying to angle for a negotiation.
Yeah.
But again, it's Julio Jones. Do you need to see him in minicamp?
No.
I don't need to see him in minicamp. In fact, if I was a coach, I'd want to see other people. You know what? Julio Jones is going to make my team.
Exactly.
I don't
your new
know.
wide receiver.
Yeah, bubble guy Tim over there, the wide receiver. I don't know if he's on the team or not. I got to see him. Maybe this is a chance for me to take a look.
UDFAs.
Right. Who else? Khalil Mack.
Yeah.
Don't need to see him.
Guy, yeah.
No, why do you need to see him? He's going to be on the team. Taylor Lewin from the Titans.
Titans tackle. He's angling for he's more of a holdout though.
Yeah.
He's looking for more money because he's on I think the final year, and he's at about $9.5 million right now.
It sounds like a lot to me.
But it's a good amount. But with the contract coming up, he wants to get extended now.
And Aaron Donald,
yes,
tackle for the Rams. He's also on the last year of his contract.
Right, and he's not showing up to the mini camps this year. We're not sure what he'll do for actual training camp. But last year, he went to mini camps, but then held out for training camp.
Yeah.
So we'll see what he does if he's trying to get the money this time around, or if he's just gonna take it easy for a few more weeks.
And Earl Thomas in Seattle.
Another holdout.
Another holdout.
He's declared he's not playing and participating until he gets something resolved.
And what I love about Earl Thomas is he did this on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he just laid it out to, look, this is what's going on. This is what I'm doing. Thanks for your support. And
I want to be a Seahawk, but I'm going to have to get that money.
Yeah. In fairness, Earl Thomas has always gotten paid. The Seahawks have always taken care of him, and I'm not jumping on Earl Thomas for holding out. He is going into the last year of his contract. He's 29 years old. With the changes that have happened defensively to the Seahawks roster, the chances of him having a better year than he has in the last couple of years, maybe not great. If he goes out there and lays the proverbial egg, then his contract status could be significantly affected.
He'll probably have a good year, regardless of who's around him, but he might not get all those counting stats.
Well, and that's the issue.
Yeah, because that's what a lot of people look at.
Yeah, unless he
base their pay performance off of.
It would be surprising to me if he had maybe an average year and then translated that into a earth-shattering contract. I think that if he goes out and puts up average numbers, he's going to get average pay.
Yeah.
And he's honestly not an average free safety. He's one of the top 5 in the league for sure.
Yeah.
I have a hard time getting down on him for holding out. Where it would start to bother me a lot, you can hold out up until week 7 of the regular season.
Yeah.
After week 7, if you hold out into week 8 of the regular season, then your contract it just counts. It doesn't count towards this year.
Yep.
So that's why you'll see Cam Chancellor did this a few years back for the Seahawks.
Yeah.
He held out through 7 games and then came back so that the contract would run. Because you do want to get to the end of that contract so you can sign a brand new contract.
If they're not getting you the money, you got to at least get out of that contract so you can get the money from somebody.
Yeah. Aaron Donald might be in a similar situation this year, although Aaron Donald, if he plays out, even if he doesn't get a long-term contract signed, you got to expect he's going to get franchise tagged.
Yeah, you would think
Yeah.
I think the Rams have the wiggle room, too, to do it.
No, they have the room to do it. It's
yeah.
just a question of, again, we talked about this a little bit before. Do you want to put that much money? Because it's going to take J.J. Watt money to sign him. It's going to take $100 million to get him signed. Do you want that money tied up in a defensive tackle?
I do. I want it on Aaron Donald.
Man, I can't see it. I just can't see it. Best defensive tackle in the league, still not worth it.
Ooh, they're coming for you.
I don't think they're coming for me. I think this is a real thing. It's just that a defensive tackle can influence a game, but he doesn't have his hand on the ball ever. I mean, how often do you see defensive tackles making interceptions? How often do you see defensive tackles picking up fumbles? It happens.
Yeah.
Aaron Donald might get his hands on the ball 5 times next year. And if he does, you know what? More power to him. Best defensive tackle in the league. But if you were to come to me from a year from now and say, hey, JB, Aaron Donald got his hands on the football no times, still led the league in sacks, I would say, yeah, because he's the best defensive tackle in the league. But he still doesn't, the sway that he has at that position over an entire game, I don't think justifies that kind of money.
It's hard. He's got to do it at the right times to really sway the game.
Yeah. And I don't think so. I don't think you can justify tying up that kind of cash. It's a lot of money. And I mean, J.J. Watt, again, a ton of money. Was he worth all that money? Well, no, because he got hurt.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I think Aaron Donald might be worth it. And I would probably take the chance on it because he hasn't shown the injury history that Watt has. And I don't know if Watt had the injury history before or after he got the contract.
He didn't.
I don't think he did.
He was. You should have been able to see it because of the way he trains.
Yeah.
He trains like a guy who will just light his body on fire. And you should see, because as you get older, your body starts to break down. You just can't your body won't put up with that kind of stuff as much. And I think that's kind of what he's running into now in Houston. Hopefully he comes back, and it looks like he will. I saw him running laps with Deshaun Watson, so that's good. That's a step in the right direction. But yeah, I don't holdouts as a general rule, holding out, I don't think I care about it in minicamps, and I don't think I care about it too much in training camp.
Once you start missing games, though.
Depending on the team you're on, yeah.
If you're actually going to make a difference.
The year Cam Chancellor held out, it hurt Seattle. Mm-hmm. It really did, and they played all year like it didn't, and they kept saying that it didn't. But, man, I tell you what, the game he came back in, everything was just settled in the backfield.
Yeah.
And that was the story.
Right.
And again, as a fan, I think you want to see your players get paid, right? Because that's
they're doing good.
I would rather see money go into a player's pocket than stay in an owner's pocket.
Yeah.
Right? They should hold out more. That's what should happen. Quarterbacks, you know what? Offensively, I think it hurts more if you hold out as an offensive player than a defensive player.
Yeah.
I think it especially hurts more if you're a quarterback. A quarterback is the one position on the team that is really unforgivable if you don't show up for minicamps and training camp.
Yeah.
Because you are so integral to the offense.
Exactly. None of the players on the offensive side of the ball are going to get comfortable with the way the game is actually going to be played during the regular season if the quarterback that's going to be playing during the regular season isn't practicing with you. It's just going to be a completely different beast.
Yeah. Nobody comes in and says, well, I'm just going to sit here and not play in any preseason games, and then game one, I'm just going to go.
Yeah, or any practices.
Yeah. That's not how it works.
Though it also seems like the GMs and the owners have gotten to the point where they understand that the quarterbacks are the ones that get the money. Because they're all getting paid like, we need you here.
Even the bad ones, right?
Yeah.
Even the bad ones.
Even
just
Sam Bradford.
Oh my, $20 million.
Yeah.
Well done, Sam Bradford. $20 million, right?
Yeah.
Holy smokes, man.
Even guys that have started 7 games are getting huge contracts.
Giant-sized contracts. Jimmy Garoppolo's contract is insane. It's totally worth it, though, for Garoppolo. World beater, next best quarterback ever.
Apparently, he's going to win MVP this year, and the 49ers are winning the Super Bowl, is what I'm hearing in some circles.
From 49ers fans everywhere. That's what they're saying. If I was a 49ers fan...
They're completely relieved.
If I was a 49ers fan, I would say that too. Yeah. Because, you know what? Nobody's beaten my guy. I'm just saying, the last time my guy got beat was in college.
That's true.
So he's gone... That's not quite true. Did he win both his games in New England?
I don't know if he finished a game in New England.
Oh, it's a good point.
He may have just come in for spot duty or half a game or something like that.
I think Jimmy Garoppolo is probably fine. I think the Niners are going to be fine this year.
Yeah, I can't wait to get into that.
That's going to be exciting. That's going to be fun to get into. Did you want to talk about? I wanted to talk about I saw something else in the news.
Yeah.
Reggie Bush, he of the New Orleans Saints.
The Lions and the 49ers and the Buffalo Bills.
That's right. He just was awarded a settlement in a case that he brought against the... it was supposed to be against the St. Louis Rams.
Right.
I think it was the St. Louis Rams.
It was the St. Louis / Los Angeles Rams. But he also had sued against like the ownership group of the stadium
in St. Louis.
But the judge dismissed those. He said, "No, you can't. These people aren't liable."
Essentially, what happened is Reggie Bush was playing for the
49ers.
For the 49ers.
2015,
okay.
November 1st.
And he took the ball out of bounds, and
it was on a punt return.
And he wound up going out of bounds.
Yeah.
And
I think he got a little bit of a shove to ensure that he went out of bounds or something. It might have even gotten flagged. I can't remember. But so he had a little extra momentum carrying him out. And
as he was coming towards where the grandstand starts,
yes.
They have that wall there. Before you hit that wall, there's like a warning track of concrete, right?
Yeah.
It's like slick concrete. It's like,
it's the good stuff if you're playing basketball.
Right.
Outside.
If you're in a Costco and look down,
yep, that's
the kind of stuff.
I think it wasn't waxed. That was the only difference. Otherwise, it was the exact same thing.
Well, he hit that in his cleated feet.
Yeah.
And went arse over tea kettle, as you will. And he ended up hurting himself. It wasn't career threatening or anything.
He came back.
But the case that he made was a week before, this same kind of thing had happened to Josh McCown,
right,
who was playing for the Browns then. McCown fell down, ended up hurting his shoulder.
Ran into the wall, hit his shoulder.
Yeah, so he was suing for negligence. And what he said was that this injury did not end my career, but it made it so that I was less durable and it affected contracts that I would have potentially gotten if I'd been 100% healthy, which I can completely understand. So it's kind of like what we talked about with Earl Thomas before, where if he plays this year and he doesn't do very well, he's not going to get a great contract.
Exactly.
So it's sort of the same thing with Reggie Bush. He got hurt, wasn't able to perform his best, so he wasn't able to sign a maximum size contract the next year.
So what did they award him?
$12 million.
Right.
Also important to note that the week after it happened to Reggie Bush, they rubberized that track.
They fixed it that time.
Yeah. Well done, St. Louis.
Josh McCown? Big deal.
Hey, nobody likes him anyway.
Cleveland Browns? Who cares? Reggie Bush?
That's serious. Speaking of Josh McCown.
Yeah.
Have you heard anything coming out of the New York Jets organization about quarterbacks?
They love their quarterbacks.
All three of them.
They're doing amazing. They're going to all be first string, I hear.
They're going to start 3 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Yeah. 1 center, 3 quarterbacks. It's going to be an unconventional lineup.
I'm looking forward to it, the double wildcat. Or something. I don't know what you want to call it.
It is really interesting because they paid Bridgewater $10 million. Does that sound about, or is it 8?
I'd have to look it up. You want to look it up real quick?
No, it's not that. I don't think it's that important. They paid him a not insignificant amount of money, right, to come over to sit on the bench. They knew they were going to draft a quarterback with the number 3 pick. They kind of knew that going in. So here they're in a situation now where they have Sam Darnold. They like him. They have Josh McCown. They like him.
Yeah. And
they have Teddy Bridgewater, who by all appearances is doing really good. So obviously they're not going to keep all 3 of these guys. So do you think they've got to be pumping him up a little bit, right?
I think so.
So did some of these reports, do you take them with a grain of salt then?
Yeah, a little bit until... I don't know how much footage is out there of Bridgewater at this point, or if they're keeping it under wraps a little bit. Because if you're actually able to see him playing, then that's one thing, and to a certain extent, yeah, he's actually doing well. But
you can tell a lot, but I mean, until you get the guy in pads, until he's being chased and run into.
Yeah, with Bridgewater, you want to see him be chased because
the
scrambler, can he still scramble?
I would like to see him be able to show a little bit of athleticism before I pulled the trigger. We were talking about this before. What would it take? What would it take to what would you give up to get Bridgewater if you were a GM, and you needed a quarterback?
I think it depends on when I'm trying to acquire him. Like if it's right now, before I've seen him play or even seen him perform at all.
Yeah,
I'm not giving up too much.
Would you give up a draft pick?
If we're going by draft picks, it's going to be a late draft pick.
So
sixth rounder.
Okay. A 6th rounder.
Yeah,
okay.
Not a 7th. He's better than that. Not a 5th. I'm not sure.
You're not sure.
He's not worth a 5th yet.
You know, a 6th-round draft pick, you cut them out of camp, right?
Not always.
Sometimes.
Tom Brady.
Steve Largent
There's 2.
was a 4th-round pick.
I'm sure there's more we can't remember. If we get into training camp, if we get into preseason, and he's playing in the preseason games, half a game, and he's looking good, and I want to trade him for him, I'm bumping it up. 4th-round pick.
4th-round pick.
Maybe throw in a guy too. Maybe throw in some roster bubble guy.
Okay. Jacoby Brissett last year got traded in the preseason, or was that?
It might have technically been after.
That might have been after the preseason.
Yeah.
For a 3rd-round pick to Indy.
Yeah.
So just as a little base of comparison.
I'm going higher than Brissett. Bridgewater's shown the ability to play more than capable at the quarterback position at the pro level for multiple seasons.
For one season.
He looked good. He played for 2 seasons.
He looked good for 1 season.
How dare you?
He was. I remember him. I remember him as being a good quarterback. I remember him as being really solid. It bothers me a little bit. It's gonna bug me a lot if he ends up being better than Kirk Cousins. Because I was saying last year they really should probably just sit on what they have with Bridgewater. I think he's potentially could be better than Kirk Cousins. Here's the thing. God bless Kirk Cousins. I don't think you have to reach too high to find a guy with a higher ceiling.
No, not really.
I think there's a lot of guys out there that could maybe do that job.
I think they got excited by the fact that they got so close to the whole thing last year.
Yeah.
And they don't want to waste any time and wait and see if Bridgewater can actually do it. Because if he can't do it, then you've wasted a year.
That's true.
Whereas if you've got Kirk Cousins, my goodness, surely he's better than Case Keenum, and you're going back to the big game.
Aren't they the same
NFC
player? I thought Case Keenum and Kirk Cousins were the same guy.
I think one of them might be like a year younger.
Okay.
No, but Kirk Cousins has definitely shown a lot more than Case Keenum has. Case Keenum was the guy that played in Houston and Los Angeles and looked absolutely dreadful. Kirk Cousins played for 3 or 4 years in Washington and looked pretty good. Not great, but he looked pretty good.
Okay.
He's a passable quarterback.
Okay, all right.
It's an upgrade.
It's an upgrade.
But it might not be an upgrade over what Bridgewater gives you. But it's hard to
say.
Put all your eggs in that basket.
Okay. Anyway, Teddy Bridgewater probably will be available at some point.
I'm rooting for Teddy.
Also, Christian Hackenberg, you hear he got signed and then released now by the Raiders. So, yeah, good. Ex-NFL Jets quarterback's doing good.
I don't know why. But good.
That seems rude.
Yeah, I don't know anything about him. He's probably a very nice person, but good.
I think that's all I've got in the weight of quickie news type stuff.
Cool, I like it.
Oh, wait, there is some more. There's a little bit more. Andrew Luck.
All of your quickie news.
Andrew Luck is throwing a football.
Yeah.
It is not the football.
He's been throwing the football.
It is a football.
He's been throwing the Duke.
And what I want to ask you, here's the thing. Have you seen him throw a football?
A football.
A football.
I have. I saw the video. I think it was him.
What did you think?
Now, he was 50 yards off in the distance. It could have been anybody in the number 12 jersey.
It could have been.
It could have been anybody. I couldn't see the scraggly, gross beard.
It could have been me.
Yeah, it wasn't you.
It could have been.
I saw you in Portland.
Okay.
On Tuesday. This was Tuesday. A reporter caught a little video from the sidelines of Andrew Luck throwing a football. It was the high school football. Is that what it was?
It's not the Duke.
No.
It's not the game.
It was
the
the
NFL
Wilson something 1205.
It's a little bit lighter.
Yeah, it's lighter. It's a little bit smaller, apparently.
Yeah. Here's the thing, because that's I've seen the video where he's throwing that around.
Yeah.
And his motion looks kind of funny. It's kind of it's not a lot of quarterbacks, and I'm making arm motions here that nobody can see.
Yeah.
But quarterbacks, when you watch them throw, they go back and then they come up and
Circles
release.
Around. Yeah.
And it's like it's not quite a circle, but it's it's like you're touching all the bases, all the cardinal points of the compass get touched as you swing your arm around and then release the ball. He seemed to come back, and then near the back of his swing, of his backswing, he kind of comes forward at an angle that doesn't
like a sidearmed baseball pitcher?
Maybe like that, and it's almost like he's going uphill at release.
That's interesting.
It's weird looking now. I don't understand what's happening.
It's Phillip Rivers-esque.
And it could be a million different things. It could be that, I don't know what I'm looking for. I'm an idiot.
It could be the angle.
It could be the angle of the video.
Yeah.
But it was just like, first of all, it's not an NFL ball, and secondly, he looks like he's throwing a dart. Why is that a thing that has to happen?
Well, he's throwing darts. You know, I was reading about what he's been doing in preparation of getting back to throwing the Duke around.
Yeah.
And the Duke, by the way, is the name of the NFL football.
I love
It's
that.
named after
Is it?
the Giant, one of the Giants owners from back in the day or something like that.
Yeah, Wellington Mara, yeah.
Yeah, Wellington Mara. I think it's named after him.
Oh, wow.
That was his nickname.
I did not know that.
Anyway, he calls it the Duke too. So now I like that, and I'm saying the Duke whenever I can. In preparation for getting himself ready to throw the Duke, he's been working with a trainer in different ways of preparing his arm strength, his shoulder strength to get back. One of the methods that he's been doing is throwing just weighted balls, like circular, spherical balls that are heavier than, I think, probably even a football, which doesn't take much, and doing more of an overhand serve tennis motion.
Oh,
Which is
okay.
a much higher release point and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And you're just coming kind of straight down and forward. But apparently those types of range of motion can help rehabilitate the shoulder in a way that will be beneficial to throwing a football.
I believe it.
So that could be one reason that you're seeing strange herky-jerky motions out of his throwing.
So you're telling me I shouldn't be scared then?
No.
This isn't a weird-looking thing that I need to be concerned about?
I don't think so. I don't think
Okay.
not yet. Also, it came out, he said that he had met with new coach Frank Reich at the facility after everybody else had gone home and was playing pass with him, with the Duke.
Okay.
So he has actually been throwing the football.
Okay.
And there was video of him throwing a football back in February as well.
There is a fantastic... Have you seen there's a parody account on Twitter?
Oh, there's one parody account on Twitter?
Just the one.
Yeah.
It's just the one. No, Andrew Luck has got a parody account. It's Andrew Luck as a Civil War officer. Have you seen this?
No.
Oh, my goodness. Here's a tweet from yesterday. Dearest mother, I write with exuberance. Today, for the first time after many sunrises, I fired my sidearm in full view of onlookers. It was a sight, I admit. Some were startled. The unit has a grueling campaign that inches closer daily. I shall be ready. I love you, Andrew.
That is expertly crafted.
Yes, they're all like that. They're all letters to his mother.
Yeah.
Yes, it's fantastic. At Captain Andrew Luck, if you should choose, it's one of the funnier.
We're going to have to follow that
accounts.
one with the Broken Plane podcast.
Now we do.
Good.
Boom.
Thank you. Everybody in Indy, get excited. Your boy is back, and he's got some weapons, too.
Yeah, that's the good thing about not having a real good quarterback. You get pretty good draft picks.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
And some protection, most importantly.
Most importantly.
They got that guard.
Quentin Nelson.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good one. Going to be a good one. Speaking of guards, you see Zach Martin got signed for 6
All the
years
money.
and $1 bazillion. Yep. Man, I just got through reading The Blind Side again, which is the Michael Lewis book about Michael Orr.
Oh yeah,
that they turned into a movie.
Yeah,
and they talk a lot about the economics of football, and when defenses started putting players on the field like Lawrence Taylor, that's when the rise of the gigantic, humongous left tackle came into the league, and how the economics of football, how you were paying one guy to throw the ball, and you were paying the guy that came and tackled him half that much, and then you were paying the guy that was protecting the guy throwing the ball half as much again, and how that was maybe silly.
Yeah.
But yeah, and now I'm wondering, is it guards now? Is guards the new thing? Is that what we're doing? Are left tackles not super valuable anymore? Because it does seem a little bit like with spread offenses coming more into the NFL, you're pushing edge rushers farther out because the splits that some of those offensive lines get in, it's like 2.5, 3 yard splits between interior linemen, and at that point, the edge rusher is starting close to 20 yards away from the quarterback, and the quarterback's already back in the shotgun.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got basically 4 seconds to close that gap anyway. That's a lot of time to get rid of the ball. So maybe guards are the new thing.
It sounds right.
Am I making
You
this
might be
up?
onto something.
Or there's no good left tackles right now. All the left tackles are gone forever.
That must be that. I don't know. I can't name a left tackle off the top of my head.
Wow. I can't either off the top of my head. Big George Fant.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah. Dwayne Brown? Dwayne Brown. He's the left tackle in Seattle. Congratulations, Zach Martin, on your huge contract. Is it Zach Martin?
Yeah.
Why did that sound like a
Cowboys.
pop singer?
Ricky Martin. Zach Efron.
Okay.
Both of those guys.
Just put those two together?
Yeah.
Okay. So the Alliance of American Football Check-In.
Yeah. Our new check-in segment.
I like it.
The Alliance.
Where are we at? We got some big announcements.
We've got the 7th team.
Yeah.
Alliance Birmingham, Alabama. You were right.
Well, there's just not a lot of other places that you can go. So,
Still,
makes sense.
that was a good call.
Yeah.
You pulled it.
Sometimes I get lucky. Sometimes that's how it works. Are they going to be the Birmingham Wild Things? They should be.
I can't wait to hear all the announcements for the team names. But
boom, 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 Wild Thing. That would be...
Tone Loc.
Yes.
There you go. I was thinking whatever that old 50s song was.
Oh, by the Trogs?
Yeah, the Trogs.
The Birmingham Funky Cold Medinas?
Yeah.
I don't think that's not this kind of league.
Nope.
Maybe the XFL. Maybe when they come out.
That would work, yeah.
That'd be sweet.
Birmingham, going to be playing in Birmingham.
Okay.
At Alabama Birmingham University. The Blazers. Legendary Legion Field. It's legendary.
Is it?
Historic.
The only field I know in Alabama is at the University of Alabama. That's the only...
Legion Field. Get to know it.
Okay.
It's coming.
All right.
It's been there for a while.
I didn't know that.
They hold the BBVA Compass Bowl there.
The BBVA? What?
Yeah.
What is this?
It's a company that does something.
Okay. All right.
Or maybe their insurance. I'm not sure. Do you know who their head coach is?
I do not.
Tim Lewis.
Timmy.
Do you remember him?
I do not.
He's an NFL player. Top pick, not the top pick, but a top pick back in '83 by the Green Bay Packers. A defensive back. Had a couple of really strong seasons. Then got in a gruesome head-to-head collision against the Chicago Bears.
Yikes.
Willie Gault.
It's weird.
Ended his career.
It's weird that he got into a head-to-head collision with Willie Gault because Willie Gault didn't hit anybody. He made no contact. He also didn't actually catch balls.
No?
No. He was a track star who couldn't catch.
Was he Deion Sanders as a wide receiver?
No, because Deion Sanders had flair and personality, and Willie Gault could run fast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the difference.
But they both avoided contact at all costs.
It's funny because now that I said that, I don't ever remember Willie Gault avoiding contact. I just don't remember him ever making contact because he never had the ball.
Oh, okay. He was just irrelevant for most of the time.
It's like hey, Willie, just go out there and run goes. You're just going to run nines all day long.
It's funny because when I heard and read about the fact that he had been blown up and ended his career, Tim Lewis, by Willie Gault, and I'd heard that name before, and I figured, oh, this guy must have been good because I've heard of him. But apparently, no, he's terrible. He was an early pick as well, though. He was somebody that kind of had a lot of promise coming out of college.
They
and then just crashed and burned.
The Bears really thought they were going to put one over on the league by turning this track star guy into a receiver.
Oh, is that what it was?
I think
he's just a burner.
And after he didn't work out in Chicago, he got a pretty long look by the Raiders. He was in the league for another 3 or 4 years.
The Raiders love their fast guys.
Yeah. And which makes it just makes no sense at all. How back in the 80s you could be a receiver and not have good hands, and today that's like the only thing you have to be a receiver.
Yeah,
is hands. You don't have to be fast. You don't have to do anything else if you can catch the ball.
They'll get you open one of these days.
Yeah,
and you'll make the catch.
That's not quite true, but I mean, essentially, nobody would put up with Willie Gault.
It's the most important thing
in today's day and age.
It's why Brashad Perryman is about to be kicked out of the league.
Yes. It's amazing the how far along the passing game has come.
Yeah.
In the last 30 years, it's night and day.
Anyway, Tim Lewis, head coach of Alliance Birmingham, the Birmingham Alliance.
The Birmingham Alliance.
I don't know how you say it. I don't remember what they want.
I kind of like Alliance Birmingham.
I think it's Alliance Birmingham.
That's
head
pretty
coach
sweet.
of Alliance Birmingham, Tim Lewis.
Nice.
After his playing career was cut short by this neck injury, he did go on to coach for quite a long time, including stints as the DC in Pittsburgh and with the Giants. And he had plenty of experience as a defensive backs coach with San Francisco, the Falcons, your Seattle Seahawks.
The mighty Seattle Seahawks.
And Carolina Panthers. But this is his first head coaching gig.
It's kind of a departure for the Alliance because they've had kind of retread
legendary
coaches.
Head coaches.
Yeah. We didn't. I don't think we got to talk about San Diego.
Yeah. We'll circle back to that. Do you have anything else to say about Birmingham?
I do not, except good luck, and now there is a rivalry in the AAF South.
Yes.
Between Atlanta and Birmingham, so that could be fun.
That's right. So we'll go back to San Diego, because we talked about the fact that they were going to be getting a team, but I don't think we ever had a show after they were officially announced. So, yes, San Diego does have an Alliance team, Alliance San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
Head coach Mike Martz.
That's going to be fun. I think that could be a lot of fun. Mike Martz, of course, from... I think best known as coach of the Rams during the Greatest Show on Turf.
Yeah.
And then also had a stint with the Lions that wasn't very good. But, As an offensive coordinator, he's always had success wherever he's gone.
Yeah.
And his teams are fun to watch.
There's also been some leaks for Martz's coaching staff. The Alliance came out, a spokesperson came out and said that no, nothing is set in stone yet. Stop spreading these rumors. But it was leaked out that apparently he was looking at John Kitna as his offensive coordinator, Larry Marmie as his defensive coordinator. I didn't know who this was, but I think you might have heard of him.
No.
Not aware of him?
No.
6 seasons as a defensive coordinator in Arizona and St. Louis. I think that's where that came from because he DC'd under Martz in St. Louis. And then TJ
Hushmanzada
as presumably the wide receivers coach. Dre Bly, presumably a defensive backs coach. And then Jackie Slater, you know him.
I've heard the name.
I hadn't heard of him, but apparently he was in the Hall of Fame.
You haven't heard of Jackie Slater?
I have now because I wrote this
20 years for the
4
LA
weeks ago.
20-year vet for the Rams. You're like, oh, that guy, I guess. I don't know.
I wasn't a Rams fan until last year, my friend.
Seems like a guy. Oh, man.
Yes.
Circling back to John Kitna. John Kitna had a really extensive career as a journeyman quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
But he's been up in Washington State coaching high school up there.
There you go.
And he's been, I think, 3A ball, which is the highest high school level of football up there. He's been doing pretty good.
Okay.
He's kind of a no-joke coach.
Ready to take the next step.
Well, I would say this is probably a lateral move into the Alliance of American football.
This is a step up. Working with college guys.
Sure.
From high school guys.
Sure.
It's a step up.
It's a step up. Yes, that's right.
It's a small step.
Hey, speaking of TJ Hushmanzada.
Yeah.
While during our hiatus, I was traveling. I made my way back to Chicago for business. I was in the hotel room watching NFL Network, like you do, and the Chad Johnson Football Life came on, and they managed to go the entire episode without mentioning TJ Hushmanzada.
Why?
The whole episode. They went through Ocho Cinco's time when he was at junior college, and then he moved to Oregon State, where he first played with TJ Hushmanzada, then to the Cincinnati Bengals, where TJ Hushmanzada was with him for, 7 years? And the entire time, I don't know if anybody else has heard this story, TJ Hushmanzada at Oregon State would tell Chad Johnson the routes, right? So the quarterback would come in, call the play, and TJ Hushmanzada would tell Chad Johnson what his route was.
Yeah. Because
Ocho Cinco couldn't be bothered to learn a playbook. And then they both go to Cincinnati. He spent the next 5 years doing the same thing in Cincinnati. You can't tell me. Come on.
You think it was TJ that was responsible for Chad
Completely.
Ocho Cinco's success?
Utterly. Completely.
Wow.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm looking at the numbers.
Don't look at the numbers.
Don't look at the numbers?
Don't look at the numbers.
Just go off of my terrible memory?
Just listen to what I say, let it wash over you, and then accept it as truth.
Chad had 10 years in Cincinnati, 10,000 yards.
Pretty good career.
That's not bad. Most of those were with TJ, calling out the routes to him.
But I think, I think one of his best years was the year TJ Hushmanzada left. I might not be entirely.
TJ's first year gone was 2009. Chad Johnson in 2009 made the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
1,000 yards, 9 touchabouts.
It's pretty good. Pretty good year.
Not his best year.
Pretty good though.
But still a good
pretty
year.
Good.
Yeah, I'll take it.
It was funny watching that. Chad Johnson was one of those guys I kind of forget about because he was on so many teams that were just not very good. But watching his highlights, his foot speed was holy smokes, man. Yeah. I mean, not flat out, not running fast, but his ability to change direction was. I don't know that I've ever seen a guy do it better. That's amazing.
Cut. Yeah.
And especially from a guy who was as tall as he was. There was nothing to him. I mean, he weighed like 160 pounds, but he was like 6 foot, 6'1", something like that. He was kind of a tall guy, a lanky dude.
Well, this says 6'1", 192.
He did not weigh 190 ever. He was a stick. That dude was like 170 tops. Maybe with a flak jacket. Maybe that's how he got up to 190. He's got like a flak jacket on. Chad Johnson is not a thick guy. Speaking of thick guys, okay, I do have something else. We'll wait until we get through with the Alliance stuff. I got one more thing that I want to get into.
I think we're done with the Alliance.
Terrell Owens.
Uh-oh.
Yes, you've heard he's been
Hall of Famer
to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Now, have we talked about Terrell Owens on the Hall of Fame as a candidate for the Hall of Fame?
I kept you in the dark.
You're a dirty dog for having done this. Because let me just tell you, listeners worldwide, Terrell Owens does not belong in the National Football League Hall of Fame.
Kind of turns out he doesn't.
He's got a lot of numbers. How many Super Bowls does he have? Not one. How many teams did he help win a Super Bowl for? None.
Well, apparently none. If he had no Super Bowl.
None. Tell me which team was better with him there. because he played for San Francisco until he wore out his welcome.
Right.
He played for the Eagles, and he went to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And then promptly pooped all over his quarterback, right?
Yeah.
Remember that? Yeah. And then he goes
Donovan.
to Dallas. And then
That was a train wreck, yeah.
And then he winds up in Buffalo.
Yeah.
I don't know. Was he in Cincinnati for a while? I don't know. All over the place. He does not belong in the Hall of Fame. Dude is a troublemaker. He's a troublemaker. You know what? You can be kept out of the Hall of Fame if you're a bad guy.
Can you?
I firmly believe you should be able to be held out of the Hall of Fame if you're a bad guy. If you're a bad dude, you don't necessarily need to be in the Hall of Fame. Who's the baseball example that people give all the time? Ty Cobb. Isn't Ty Cobb the racist?
Yeah.
And he allegedly killed a hobo at one point. Just the stories you hear about this guy are amazing. And if you ever get the chance to see the movie with Tommy Lee Jones, I think it's called Cobb. You should, because Tommy Lee Jones is a fantastic actor. And also, that story is horrifying. You shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame if you're Ty Cobb. Am I saying that Terrell Owens is Ty Cobb? No, I'm not. But he is all about himself. He cares about nothing else, and that's fine, but you don't get to be in the Hall of Fame because of that. So now he's elected to the Hall of Fame, and why don't you tell us what he's doing now that he's been elected to the Hall of Fame?
Well, he's not going.
Yes, he decided, because he went to the Hall
ceremony.
of Fame.
To the ceremony.
He took himself on a trip to the Hall of Fame, and has now decided that because he's been elected, he doesn't feel like he should show up for the ceremony, for the induction ceremony.
He's
to
busy.
Get into the Hall of Fame.
He's busy that day.
He's a POS. That's just horrible, terrible, bad dude, bad in the room.
15 years, 12 playoff games.
It's pretty good, I guess.
That's not
I guess
good.
It's fantastic, right? You know,
he does have nearly 16,000 receiving yards and 153 touchdowns.
Undeniably
which
talented.
I think is comparable to what Randy Moss had.
Undeniably talented.
Yeah.
But you tell me which one you want on your team.
I'm probably taking Randy Moss.
I would take Randy Moss
Yeah.
everybody would take Randy Moss every day and twice on Sunday. You know why? Because he's the same guy, except you don't have to put up with him being concerned about himself and not everybody else.
Well, I liked the touchdown celebration where Randy Moss mooned everybody instead of anything that T.O. ever did. So that puts him on my team.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Better touchdown celebrations.
I don't even mind the celebrations. The touchdown celebrations were fine. I minded that he got into his quarterback's ears, that he got into his offense's ears, that he was a cancer in the room. The guy is a terrible teammate, and now he's not going to go to the induction ceremony. We were going to talk about this. Was another topic of conversation for the show that never made it onto the air.
Yeah.
You do not need an all-pro receiver to win a Super Bowl. Wide receivers are one of the most overrated positions on the field. You don't need them. In fact, I would just go back and look at Super Bowl winners from 2000 to now, the last 18 years.
Do you still have this knowledge in your head?
I think I do, because not one of them, not one all-pro.
It's like Marvin Harrison, the year that the Colts won.
Yeah, it wasn't an all-pro.
Yeah, but the same season that the team that won the Super Bowl, the wide receivers on that team
weren't ever
won. Yeah, there was never an all-pro.
No, on the losing team.
On the losing team, there were a couple.
There was a couple of all-pros, but the winning team had not once since 2000 has a winning Super Bowl team had an all-pro receiver. They've had receivers that have gone to the Pro Bowl, but not an all-pro receiver.
Exactly.
An all-pro receiver being, one of the two best receivers in the league. Want to know how many quarterbacks? All of them. All of them, right? Yeah, that's an important position. But you know what's not an important position? Receiving.
Yeah.
Receivers not important.
Look at the Eagles.
Overblown. This is what I'm saying.
A lot of decent wide receivers that you're not ever going to put any of them in the Hall of Fame.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly right. Yeah. Look at what New England's doing now with their receiving core. Look at what Sammy Watkins.
Jacksonville did.
The Rams let Sammy Watkins go. I don't care what anybody says. They let him go. You know why? Because he is not required to have a winning football team. I'm surprised Kansas City took him because I thought Andy Reid was smarter than that. I didn't think he would take him because why do you need a high-priced wide receiver? I don't ever need to pay for a wide receiver. I can get production from that position through some other way. I don't need to overpay for that spot.
Yeah.
I have no sympathy at all anymore. Wide receivers, dime a dozen.
All of them. Where are you sinking all of your money into the quarterback and the defense and guard?
Yes, quarterback, guard, and defense. That's it.
Linebackers, not defensive linemen though.
You know what?
Or are you a secondary guy?
Man, I don't know. That's a good question. So if we're going to say,
If you're going to build the perfect roster based on who you're paying the most,
where does your money go the farthest? And I think quarterback is the obvious choice.
If you can find the guy that's worth the money.
I think quarterback, and then I think middle linebacker,
right,
and then I think free safety. So it's the interior of the defense,
basically, that
you want to build from. And I think that's pretty common. You want to build from the inside out, right? So you want to build from the middle of the defense out towards the sidelines.
Yeah.
Yes, that's how I would do it, unless you've got yourself a stud pass rushing specialist, and then maybe you want to pay that person. Although that position is less and less important now, because teams are getting really good at making it so that pass rushing specialist
them into the good spots.
Yeah, they don't really have. It's not like it used to be, where you used to be able to rush that guy, 3 out of every 4 downs.
Right.
You could just rush him up the field and hope for the best. Now teams are really paying attention and making that guy be wrong.
Yeah,
essentially is what they're doing. So it's a good question. Where do you spend your money?
Would you spend more money on a receiving tight end or on a receiver, on your number one receiver?
Good question. Receiving tight end.
Yeah.
Yeah, because again, it's more towards the center of the field. I think a guy with Rob Gronkowski's skill set is more valuable than a guy with Julio Jones' skill set.
Yeah. I mean, look at Rob Gronkowski, Travis Kelce, Zach Ertz.
Yeah.
Tony Gonzalez, all these guys.
Even Jimmy Graham.
They contributed to protecting the quarterback, but they also, you can get in that quick chip block and then get open in the middle of the field at the first down marker and move your chains.
That's right. And there's something to be said about that mismatch, because those guys...
And those are impossible covers for most linebackers even, and then if you get a slot corner on them, it's game over.
Yeah. That's what makes it so much fun.
Yeah.
So I would pay more money for a pass-catching tight end than a wide receiver. That I wouldn't pay any money for a wide receiver, so it's not hard to do, right? Des Bryant thinks he's going to get a contract from somebody. Who's going to pay you money?
I can't wait till he goes to a team and we can talk about how terrible of a decision they made.
It would have, man. I don't see.
Do you think he's going to play this year?
He'll play because he's an NFL player, right? So he's going to play.
Who did we guess? Where did we think he might? Oh, I said Tennessee.
Yeah.
But now I'm starting to think that they don't need him.
You know what? It wouldn't surprise me a lot if he wound up with the Panthers at some point, because he's coming out of Jason Garrett's system.
Yeah.
And Norv Turner and Jason Garrett run the same system.
Right.
So
and Norv Turner's an idiot. So he would take Des Bryant.
Well, and it almost makes sense, because you kind of do. It's not really a new system that he's bringing to Carolina, but it's different enough that you might want to have a receiver in there to kind of mentor people.
You know what?
The downside is that Des Bryant can't run routes.
I don't think they would take him for the simple fact that they're talking up the fact that Norv Turner is talking up the fact that he can basically add
10 percentage
points to Cam Newton's completion percentage. Yeah. But that's going to either require somebody with amazing hands, somebody who can get open quickly, which is neither of the things that Des Bryant can do.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think they go for that, because I think they're going to go for a lot of short, quick downs like Jacksonville was doing.
Yeah.
And then they'll take a shot deep every once in a while if they've got a guy who can do that, which I don't know if they have right now.
I don't know if they have anybody that can go downfield right now. I see Des Bryant kind of like Brandon Marshall right now, except that he's not big. Brandon Marshall's got size because he's a big dude, but he's not separating.
We can talk about Brandon Marshall too.
He did sign.
He found a team
with the Seahawks.
Yeah,
I feel okay about it, only from the point of the point of view that the Seahawks really didn't have. Their receiving core has always been kind of a joke to me, because Doug Baldwin, I don't care what you say, Doug Baldwin is my kind of receiver, because you're not paying any money to him. He's not a number one receiver. You just understand
he's playing like it though.
Understand what he is. Yeah. Okay, he is a great complementary possession type receiver.
Yeah,
that's what he is, and he is made better because he is willing to work deep into routes. Because Russell Wilson extends plays better than anyone in the league.
Yeah.
And a lot of Doug Baldwin's catches come on, he gets lost.
A lot of Baldwin's routes are run out run out 20 yards, cut in, then run back 10 yards.
Yeah.
He actually has all of his routes are comeback routes.
They're like 37-second plays.
Yeah.
That's what, he has to run a marathon. Yeah, that's what has to happen in order for Doug Baldwin to catch a ball. Brandon Marshall has got great size, and what he can do.
And a great attitude.
What he can still do now, we're not going to talk about his attitude. What he can still do now is he can still run a slant, cut inside a cornerback, and use his body to catch the ball.
Yeah.
That's what he can do. Des Bryant can't do that because he doesn't have the size. But essentially, they're the same type of receiver.
Yeah.
Kind of, if you can kind of follow that analogy. I don't know. Not a huge fan. Anyway,
Mike Martz is coaching the Lions San Diego.
And good luck to TJ House-Mizzou. What?
Yeah.
What's that?
It's our breaking news music. We have received an email. I sent an email out to our fan of the week, Alex Forbes, down in sunny Australia. Is it sunny right now? No, it's snowy right now. It's winter in Australia, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think it's always pretty sunny.
Yeah, it's still sunny.
Yeah.
Anyway, he got back to us. I was like, it's probably about noon right now for them. He says, thanks, guys. I have Twitter, @ChickenPrawn, so you can follow him, @ChickenPrawn, on Twitter. He's a Panthers fan, so I don't like him anymore. And I saw the tweet you put out in an article about Cam Newton not making the top 5 rushing QBs. I remember that.
That was lame.
That was one of my favorite, or one of my most successful tweets. A reply to Pro Football Focus, who left Cam out of the top 5 quarterbacks, or just rushing quarterbacks, or something like that.
He was rushing quarterbacks, wasn't
he? And obviously he was the top rusher, I think, in the NFL last year from the quarterback position.
Yeah.
It didn't really make sense as to what metrics Pro Football Focus was using to measure and grade these quarterbacks when he had more rush attempts, more yards, more touchdowns. I think he had quite a few fumbles, which they might have docked him for that a little bit, but whatever. He still did plenty of work for that team and got him into the playoffs.
It's pretty messed up though.
Yeah.
It's really that I like numbers. I'm a stat guy, but yeah, that's just stupid.
That's the tough part about Pro Football Focus is, I don't know, maybe if you pay them the money, then you get to understand why they do the things that they do and give the numbers that they give.
Maybe.
But some of them I don't always understand, and I see a lot. For all the fans of Pro Football Focus, there's a lot of haters of Pro Football Focus too.
Oh, really? I didn't know this.
I just don't know enough about a lot of these players, especially on the defensive side of the ball, so I have to steal and use their information and say, this guy is good because Pro Football Focus tells me he's good.
It'd be interesting to delve into that a little more. The writers that they have there, I don't recognize them from other places, which is, I don't know if that's a warning sign. I
think if you are a Bachelorette fan,
one of their guys was on the Bachelorette.
One of their guys is the Bachelorette this year,
the
Bachelor for the Bachelorette.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I thought I saw something about that on Twitter.
He's one of the contestants for the Bachelorette. That's what it is.
That sounds more like it. Speaking of which, did you hear one of the bachelors on The Bachelorette was a football player who hurt his wrist in the show?
Oh, that's right.
Did you see that?
I saw that. Clay Harbor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And he wrecked his wrist at a game of 7-on-7.
He was a tight end for like the
Saints.
Saints, and I think he played for Jacksonville too.
Yeah. Anyway, he wrecked his wrist.
What a great world we live in. I don't think I've ever seen The Bachelorette.
I've never seen it either.
I don't think I ever will. Jesse Palmer was a bachelor, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Carson's brother.
Yeah.
And he was Giants quarterback for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, he backed up Eli.
So they love the NFL over there at Bachelorette and The Bachelor.
Makes sense. I
don't think it makes any sense. They're ABC, and all the Bachelor and all the NFL stuff is not on that channel.
But
why aren't they going after hockey guys?
They're pro athletes. They're good-looking guys. So you just bring them in, right?
I mean, I get that.
It seems fine. Hockey guys are stupid. You don't need to listen to anything. Speaking of which, hockey, congratulations to the Washington Capitals.
Hey.
Great season. Congratulations, Alex Ovechkin. I am an Ovechkin guy.
I am too.
A lot of Ovechkin haters out there. It's fine. I understand. I'm an Ovechkin guy. Also Barry Trotz. Also TJ Oshie. Also, Braden Holtby, a lot of guys on that team I was rooting for.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Vegas Knights, Vegas Golden Knights. Fantastic season.
Quite the run for an inaugural season.
Yeah, for an expansion team.
Yeesh.
Heck of a job. But NHL is over. Congratulations to the Golden State Warriors.
Nah.
Okay, we'll leave that one alone.
Oh, hell!
And now we get to have an offseason of where does LeBron go?
Portland.
No, he's not.
He's coming to the Blazers.
I heard the Rockets. He's going to go to the Rockets and play with James Harden.
I'm almost officially done with the NBA anyway. If he goes anywhere, stay in Cleveland, LeBron. Stay in Cleveland or retire, or I quit the NBA until Steph and James Harden and KD and all those idiots are out.
I have been staying away from the NBA for, I don't know, since Rasheed Wallace was in Detroit. That's how long. So it's been a long time.
Yeah.
But I tried to come back last year a little bit, and I tried to come back this year, and I was successful. I watched a little more basketball this year. But what kills me, it turns out I can't watch Houston Rockets games because I just want to punch James Harden in the face.
You like Chris Paul, or you hate Chris Paul too?
I don't even notice. I can't notice him because Harden is too busy jumping into people to get fouled.
Yeah.
I hate that guy. I hate his face. I hate his beard. I hate the way he plays. I hate his droopy eyes. I hate him on a personal level for reasons that I can't explain.
I just fell in love with you.
Yeah.
James Harden is my least favorite human.
Just a tool, a complete tool.
And he gets everything.
That's the thing that kills me about him. It's like, how is, first of all, if you jump into somebody like that, how is that a foul? How do you call that? I don't understand how that gets called in the NBA.
It's a charge.
If you jump into somebody, if you initiate contact.
James Harden should have fouled out of every game he's ever played in within 5 minutes.
Just a chump. Terrible.
I think I maybe watched like 10 minutes of basketball this year.
I think what, for me, basketball really lost its edge when they started to really enforce that no hand check rule.
Yeah.
And then the flagrant foul came in, and so you really couldn't.
Review in basketball doesn't work for me.
Review's hard, yeah. It really basketball's already choppy, and it just is one more thing to kind of break things up. And I want to like the sport though. I really do want to like it because there's a lot of good storylines. Mm-hmm. Anyway, back to the NFL.
We'll try again.
Alex,
thanks for chiming in and getting back to us so quick. You're getting a lot of airtime. But you deserve it.
That's all I have. I have no more. Do you have anything more?
I don't. Do you want to do a trivia?
Oh, yeah. Who was the active NFL career leader in total yards from scrimmage, rushing, and pass catching at the end of the 2015 season? So career leader, the active career leader at the end of the 2015 season. Frank Gore, Steven Jackson, Andre Johnson, Marshawn Lynch, Reggie Wayne.
I'm going to go ahead and eliminate the wide receivers right off the bat.
Okay, so Johnson and Wayne out.
So we got Frank Gore, Steven Jackson, and Marshawn Lynch. Now, I don't think Frank Gore caught the ball that much.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure he was more of a runner. But he did, and
it's a couple of years ago.
That's a couple of years ago. I feel like at that point, Steven Jackson had the longest career.
Maybe. I don't recall. When did he retire? He retired before 2015, didn't he?
It must have been. That might have been his last season.
Wow. So you're down to Frank Gore, Steve Jackson.
It would help if I could remember. I feel like Frank Gore, he's been around forever.
Frank Gore has been around forever.
Been around forever.
Yes, he has.
What if it's Reggie Wayne? Oh, man. You know what? I'm just going to go with Steven Jackson because I want it to be Steven Jackson.
The answer is the 49er and Colt had amassed 15,190 total yards and 70 touchdowns over 11 successful seasons. That, of course, would be
Frank Gore.
Boo.
Yeah. That's the show.
I
was wrong again.
So until next week.
I'm TK.
I'm JB.
Goodbye.